it's Jessica Michaels here with another layout for a Terry on Top. I'm also up on the blog today with this one. So I am grabbing the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Fresh Snow collection. That is a mouthful. And I've got just some little bits and pieces of this collection. I don't have the full collection, I just have little bits. So I'm going to make a layout with what I have today. I've got two photos that I'm using today, and I was really happy that this collection had some blue in it because I don't know what it is about snow pictures, or maybe it's just the lighting in Pennsylvania, but every time I take a snow picture, it always looks bluish. So that's what I've got today. I'm sure I could do some editing magic and edit out the blue, but I just choose to leave most of my photos the way that they are, and I just roll with it. So I've got these two photos from when we took our kiddos snowmobiling with us last year in our little trailer that we bought to pull behind my snowmobile. So the boys are both in there. Baby girl was too small to go yet at that time, so both of my boys were in there and wearing helmets, as you can see, for safety, and they are buckled in as well. So they absolutely loved it and had a blast. So I took these photos and decided to document that today. So basically what I did is I took a 12 by 12 paper, I just ripped a little section off to create this little shelf, and then I'm just roughing up the edges. I also pulled out this other paper with the snowflakes on it from, it's another Simple Stories collection from I think last year. It's called Simple Stories Simple Vintage Winter Woods. So another mouthful and a long collection name, but it's also a very good collection. So I have little bits of both of these collections that I'm kind of pulling together for this layout. And I am just layering that banner piece there, and I've grabbed these little bits from the Fresh Snow collection, and I really loved this title piece together that says Snow Much Fun, so I'm going to layer it up like that. And then I'm going to do some light stenciling here with a stencil from my stash and some Distress oxides, and this one's a Distress ink in Chip Sapphire, and then the oxide one that I'm going to use is a lighter blue and Speckled Egg. So that's this one here. I decided to do kind of a two-tone snowflake because that dark blue one in the Chip Sapphire was a lot darker than I thought it was going to be on here. I just wanted something very, very subtle, and I actually was going to switch this out and change the paper, but then I was just rolling with it. I thought, you know what, it's going to look really pretty, and I can fade this out a little bit with some water, so that's exactly what I'm going to do with this. So I have my little shelf here. I pulled out some tags and trimmed those off of the tag sheet, and I'm going to use those, but right now I'm just going to grab some water so that I can tone this down a little bit. So the Distress oxides and inks are water reactive, so you can really do some fun mixed media techniques with these, and what I'm doing here is I'm just adding a little bit of water to these snowflakes and just doing a little bit of ink blending there. Not a whole lot, but I'm just trying to soften them up just a tad and kind of make it look like a little bit of a watercolor effect. And just, it's very subtle, but again, just something extra and something to just dull those down just a little bit because they were so bold when I first put them on there. I'm grabbing some Nuvo mist here. This is the Morning Fog color. It's a sparkle mist, so I've just used that for my splatters there. And then I'm grabbing some palm trim, but I'm not actually going to use that on this layout. I thought it would look really cool in here, and it would, but I ended up not using that. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere down my little tags here at this point and kind of get this shelf rolling. And I'm grabbing some tissue paper. This is something that I love to do, is just cut little pieces or strips out of tissue paper, crumple it all up, and then just kind of tuck it in around places. So this is just going to tuck in here and just surround my photos. So I'm just ripping that in half so that I know that I'm going to have enough in that strip to go across the other side. And it flattens out pretty well, so you don't have to really worry about adding a lot of extra bulk to your page because it's just tissue paper, so it does flatten out and it still creates a really cool effect. So there's my title. I'm going to layer this up here in a second and glue that top piece down, and I just want to make sure that this shelf is where I want it to be, and just gluing those pieces down as well with some more of that Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I went ahead and did some machine stitching across that border strip with my Brother sewing machine to give it a little bit of added texture. And then I'm pulling out yet another paper from my winter stash here and just using the wood grain on this paper to give my photos some layering. I did already mat them with some smooth white cardstock, but I just wanted it to have a couple more patterns. This one here is just a scrap that I have left from a kit of some sort, but it's from, I think, Simple Stories Boho Baby collection, I think. So I've had that one for a little while, but it's just, like I said, a little scrap. And I just love to recycle and reuse my supplies as much as possible. I don't even know why, because I have so much stuff. Literally, I have enough things for a lifetime of scrapping, but I do really like to reuse and recycle things as much as I possibly can. So that's something that I do, is I save my bigger scraps like that to map my photos with. And I've got my title piece down at this point. I did pop some of that up with some foam squares. And then I'm just going to work from this sticker sheet, grab some of these little goodies off of here and add some of the little wordy bits to the center of my layout. I was really trying to make this little branch work, but I didn't like it there. So I ended up popping it back off of there, putting it back on the sticker sheet for now, but it does come back into play a little bit later on this layout. I'm going to grab this darker thread here. It's kind of like a bluish color, bluish gray. I'm going to add that to my tags at this point and just let them kind of hang down. I'm not doing anything crazy with those today, just going to leave them kind of as they are. So at this point, I'm liking the way that this is looking, but I still need to add some things. So I'm going to grab this sticker book and add this little tab at the top here. It wasn't going across just one photo, it was going across both, but I'm going to fill in that little gap here and you'll see how I do that in a second. I actually don't leave that snowflake there either. I ended up grabbing something else, I think. Yeah, I ended up ripping it off. So I just kind of set that aside for now because I do like the snowflake. I just ended up using a tab instead and then filling it in with another snowflake instead. I'm just kind of picky over here. But I am just going to tuck in these little snowflake die cuts from the ephemera pack in different places. I'm going to layer them over my stenciling to give that a little bit more dimension. I'm going to pop some of them up with some foam squares, and I'm going to add my date stamp with one of these labels from this sticker book as well. If you guys have watched my videos before, you know that I'm in love with Simple Stories sticker books. They just come jam-packed with so many different things to use, and you can use them on so many different projects. So I'm grabbing this little snowflake to pop down right there, and grabbing, what else? My journal pen. This is just a normal kind of jelly roller pen, and I'm just going to do some journaling here of my kids and how they liked the adventure. I wanted to actually add some more journaling and write more about it and about the story, but I figured I will save that for one of the other layouts that I have to do with some more photos of this trip as well, and just leave this one pretty simple. So there's that branch coming back into play. I ended up pulling it in after all, along with some of these little wordy bit stickers or word phrases. I just thought they would look super cute and kind of pull that focus back towards the photos to the middle of the layout and then drag your attention over to that title as well. Got my date stamp there in the middle as well. That's where I put that one. And then sequins. I'm going to grab these Picket Fence Studio sequins and add some of those. I think it's called Lake Tahoe mix, but I'll link everything down below in the description for you in case you want to grab any of the stuff from the Cherry on Top shop or know any of the names of anything that I've used, because I know it's a total mouthful for all of these names of the products that I use and things. So I'll try to link everything below for you. And yeah, so this layout is almost finished. I really, really like how this came together. It's a really fun, snowy, wintry layout. It's actually snowy outside. It was negative, I think like -4 today here in PA. So crazy cold. I don't so much like the cold. I do love the snow, but I don't like the cold, if that makes sense. I like to snowmobile when it's about like 25 degrees to 30 degrees, somewhere in there. Any warmer than that like makes me too hot. Yeah, so here's the finished layout, and I hope you guys enjoyed this process today, and feel free to check out the products linked down below in the description. Give me a like and leave me a comment. Say hi. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thanks for being here. Bye-bye.